What's going on, everybody? Trying to figure out Twitter. Twitter's having some problems, so bear with me while we go through this. Listen to some cool tunes from Still Point, if you would not mind. Trying to figure out what's going on. It's always something. All right, I'm running on Twitter. I'm running on Spaces. Somebody let me know if you can see it and hear it. That would be a great help. One thing about Spaces is they don't make it easy. I'm gonna reset the clock here. See if we can get this working. If somebody's over on Twitter, please head on over there real quick and see if we can get this working. Kathleen, thank you for becoming a subscriber. Appreciate it. And hey, Libby. Sorry, honey. Could you go on Twitter and see if I'm in Spaces, please? You'll see it. Just go on Twitter and listen and see if you can hear it, please. See if we can get this going. Folks, we'll be going in a second. Sorry. Short notice. Rain alert. Just on a cloud in the sky. Can you hear it? You're going to have to yell, honey. Yeah. That's the one. What did it say? Okay, great. See if you can hear anything. Start. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Test. Stay right here. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing. Testing 1 2. Test 1 2. I see you in there. Turn up your sound. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. Test 1 2. Can you hear me? Stay right there. Do not move. Settings. Test. Testing 1 2 3. Live. I really hate Twitter Spaces. Doesn't work. You hear what?
I can't hear you, but it almost sounds like it's there whenever like I can hear.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. Testing. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. You don't hear that? I mean, how does it not allow you to pick your audio equipment? I mean, Elon Musk, seriously, you can send a man to Farkin Mars, but you can't fix this?
A bunch of white noise.
Like, what do you mean by white noise? Yeah. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, it's pretty much like that.
Okay, so let's end this.
You know what it sounds like?
No.
It sounds like really bad, like AM radio.
Okay.
Really, really bad, because I'm getting...
Then it's using my mic here. So we need to shut this off, and we need to go over here, do this again. Just wait. And I need to delete it off my page. See, let's see. Hold on, here we go. Hold on, don't leave. Okay, so that worked. So there's that. Okay, so we're gonna delete that. Now we're gonna try it on my phone. Close. And we're gonna try to open up Twitter Spaces on my phone and just do it from here. Almost done, folks. No, I don't want this stupid thing. Nope. Nope. Get rid of it. Thank you. All right, plus Spaces. Where's Spaces? God, I hate Twitter sometimes. It's such a shit program. I mean, Elon Musk, seriously, dude. How can you not do better than this? This is how confusing it is. I don't even know how to get a Spaces going on my phone. I hit the plus sign. There's no option. Okay. Go to my home. Spaces. There's Spaces. Why is it on the main screen? It's a form of posting. Going back over here. Okay. and turn that on. Record space. Enable video. Okay. Next. Next. What do you want to talk about? Political stuff. There we go. Hit next. Get to know spaces. I don't want to get to know spaces. I want spaces to get to know me. Betty, can you go grab me the little iPhone stand? It's out there on the table. Yep. Thank you. All right, hold on, folks. We're going to get this going. I don't know what's going on with Twitter. Twitter's not working, so I've tried to stream to it. It's not letting us. So I'm going to set up spaces, and hopefully that will be good enough for y'all. Olivia's helping me out, and then we'll get going. Sorry. I apologize for the delay. But Twitter's become a huge part of our lives, and even though it frustrates me to no end, we got to take care of it. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. Great to see you. Just waiting on that stand from Olivia. Yeah, there is. It's a small. It does. It has an it looks like a clamp. It's real small. It's like a little tripod. It's small. It's up there. It's got to be up there. I use it every day. Any luck? Honey, is it not on the table? How about upstairs, honey? Take a look, please. Thank you. I owe you. All right, I'm going to try to start this here. All right, test 1, 2. Mic is on. Camera is on. Adjust settings. Okay, that's great. Okay, this works. Where did it go? There it is. All right, is that streaming? Turn on my audio. I mean, I'd be able to hear the videos. There it is. Okay, there's the video. Somebody go over there, will you? Mic is off. Stop turning off the mic. Stop turning off the mic. Why does it keep turning off my mic? This piece of shit. Elon Musk, fix your stuff. Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Testing 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Test. Test. Keeps turning off my mic. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. Elon Musk, I can officially tell you that your program sucks. Sucks. Absolutely sucks. Hey, Liv. Don't worry about it. It just sucks. It's shit. It's absolute dog shit. Like, it will not allow me to turn my mic on. I mean, how hard is this? Listen live. The host is recording this space. Everyone that speaks will be included in this. Oh my God. Yes, and I had issues. Oh yeah. Oh yes, we had issues. Couldn't hear speakers. Yep. Elon Musk. There you go. Fix it. Stop throttling my page. All right, so there's that. Try this one more time. This doesn't work. We're out of here. So weird. Everyone swears by this. Oh, Spaces is so cool. It's not cool. It sucks. Doesn't work. It never works. And there's no audio profile. There's no way to change your speakers. Everything is just broken. Hey, Liv, would you mind coming closing the door since the cat's trolling us? And then we're just going to get started here without Elon Musk and his shitty program. Get to know Spaces. I don't want to get to know Spaces. Join us for a show. Okay, start now. Invite people. I don't want to invite people. I want people just to find this. Okay. Mic is on. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test. 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, mic is on. I know. I know. Frustrating. All right. So that says it's on. Can somebody please, for the love of God, go over to Twitter, make my life easy, join this stupid thing, and see if it's working? Please, somebody, anybody, please. Anybody, please. Thank you, Lee. Go over and check. See what you can find out. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Hey, Liv, would you check, please? Hey, everybody. Could you check for me on Twitter?
I didn't know I was supposed to.
You please check on Twitter? Yep. Checking on Twitter. Somebody check on Twitter. Testing 1 2. Testing 1 2. Wimkin is good. Hey, Liv, would you check, please? I don't know what it is about today, but everything seems to be broken. Wimkin's good. We're up now. Still off on Twitter. Twitter is not working. And okay, I got Dodge. Lee, can you hear me? Test 1 2. Okay, Amy says here on my end, I'm here and up. Okay, so you guys can hear me, right? Just making sure. I just need one more confirmation. Thanks for your service. Thanks, Stacy. All right, we're almost good. All right, sounds like we are good.
I don't see a video, but you're on Spaces.
And then you have to join it. Yep. Just join it and stay in there and just. Okay, good. Thanks, honey. All right, everybody. We're good to go. You know what? We're not going to do a lot of intro. We're just going to go right to it. By the way, join Wimkin, wimkin.com. Get in there, make it happen. Quick commercial, and we'll be right back. Thanks.
Howdy, y'all. This is Damani Felder. These are perilous times in American history, and now more than ever, we need individuals who are willing to wage war on the ideological battlefield with like-minded individuals.
Just doing commercials, everybody.
Start in my friends at the Don't Unfriend Me show. So thank you for being here, and enjoy the show.
What's going on, everybody? Matthew Spear from the Don't Unfriend Me show. I am proud to announce that the Documents of Freedom are back in stock. It's a 3-book collection, leather-bound, by Arcadia Publishing. Starts out with the Bill of Rights, and it's the complete edition of the rights, so you can look up and reference anything your heart desires. Declaration of Independence, with revisions and founder images included, beautifully illustrated. And last but not least, what would Documents of Freedom be without the Constitution of the United States of America in its entirety? The box is handmade by PFC Flags, custom engraving, all 100% made in the USA from the nails to the glue. And we have a 5-star rating, satisfaction guaranteed, 150 sold 5 stars or better. It is so important, especially in today's society, to ensure that the younger generation has these books available in the future. Get them for your family and friends, available right now. Head on over to thedumshow.com/books. Thanks so much.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me show with your hosts Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Joel, honestly, I don't think we'll ever break out on YouTube. YouTube has done whatever they can to screw us over. They are horrible. They have been that way for quite a while, since they banned us and blocked us quite a while ago. But it is what it is. We're not going to bitch about it. There's not much you can do. This is going to be an interesting show. There's no Twitter. We do have Rumble. We do have Wimkin, which is always a good thing. But no Twitter. So numbers are going to be really low because Twitter is a pretty big house for us. We are running on Twitter Spaces, and unfortunately, it's just not good enough. They can't hear us or actually see us. And Elon Musk has got to get this fixed. If he wants me to take him seriously as a streaming platform, there's a lot of places that do it. and a lot of shows that do it and they do it well. I'm not quite sure how they successfully do it, considering they can't control their cameras, they can't control their mics, anything like that, and that's frustrating. You know, I want to be able to present the show the way I want to. And Twitter Spaces, you can't watch the videos, you can't do anything. I think it fucking sucks, but that's just me. Maybe you guys like it. I'm sure the interaction is great. I would suppose, but overall, the graphic or the interface is pretty shitty. Is all I would say. All right, got a goal of $150 for the show. It would be so great if YouTube would take off. But the good news is Twitter's doing fine. Facebook has been giving me some love, although that isn't updating. Hey, Liv, can I ask for one more favor, honey? Sorry, Olivia's being awesome. She's helping out tremendously. Hold on one sec. I'm sorry, baby. Thank you. Could you unplug that and plug it back in? The sign, it's broken. I don't know what's going. Yeah, it's broken or some shit. It seems like everything's broken today. Twitter's not working. We can't get it to work. I'm just going to discontinue the spaces because nobody's in here. There's really no point, and then we'll just do the show from here and call it good. Yeah, I don't know why. I'm not a big fan of that thing. It sucks. All right, everybody. So here's what we're going to talk about. I want to talk about a couple things. You may have been paying attention to Donald Trump is beginning to announce that he's starting his cabinet. It should. You just replace the power, right?
Yeah, I took it out.
Oh yeah, now let's put it back in. Yep, just a reset. It will. Yep. You took the Smurl power out, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, I unplugged it for like 20 seconds.
That's too long. I mean, you just need to unplug it for. You unplugged it once, then put it back in, and it still didn't work. Are you kidding me?
That's why I unplugged it again. It's not working.
Would you take all this stuff off real quick, please? Just throw that on the ground, honey. It's not important. And then hand me the oh, there it goes. All right, go ahead and put it back. All right. See, just took a second. It has an attitude problem. It's a liberal. All right. Thanks, honey. You're the best. Are there still Yenny shirts? Yes. Still Yenny shirts, still Yenny hoodies. All right, let's get to it. Happy Veterans Day, first of all, to all my veterans. God bless. Thank you for your service. Male, female, fungo, bipedals, and anyone else who served. We appreciate you. Just leave it cracked, babe. It's fine. She's okay. She comes in here with me. Just leave it cracked. Thanks, punk. All right. So, yeah, Yenny shirts are still in. So everyone who served, appreciate you. Thank you. Something we need to talk about. And I don't know when it happened, but we've talked about this whole transplant of the brain thing, where liberals decided to literally take the stolen election people from 2020, steal their brains, and have replants in their own. I don't know when this happened, but somehow there's been a switch where Republicans now believe that these are the safest and fairest elections ever. And Democrats think they are all stolen. But the interesting thing is people still think, after the safest and fairest election that we've ever had in American history with Donald Trump winning, that Arizona still cheated. Oh, and so did North Carolina. But they voted for Donald Trump, but they cheated for the down ticket. And yes, Olivia is awesome. She is incredible. So help me understand. Who believes this stuff? Who believes that the election was stolen still, even though Donald Trump won? And if you're out there, I want to hear from you. And I promise I'll be nice. I'll be kind. Democrat or anyone in between, I want to hear from you because I'm confused. If you're saying that the election was stolen because Kari Lake lost, but Donald Trump won, and Eli Crane won in District 2, then why weren't those stolen too? I don't understand. Now, I get it. Like, every single state, people are like, how can Florida get all of its electorate counted? How can Texas get their electorate counted in the same way, and California can't. Well, because California sucks. So that explains it. I live there. It's a shithole. Sorry. It's a shithole. It's just, it's a has-been archaic, stuck-in-time mess. It's not modernized. It's just old. And the bridges and roadways are old. The transportation system's old. The entertainment there is old. Nothing's new. Even Hollywood's run down. It's just trash. And there's nice parts. There's no doubt. There's some beautiful parts to California. But overall, it's just trash. Sorry. Yeah, we got the house. I already told you guys we got the house. Okay, let me just put this to bed. Donald Trump won the presidency. We won the Senate. We won the House. We have the SCOTUS. And we have the gubernatorial. Nobody's talking about the governors. Do you know how important that is? We have the governors too. Governorship is huge. That nobody's talking about that. I wonder why. That's more important to me than state legislature and Senate, is how your state is run. So we have the governors too. We have it all. We own it all. But Matt, there's still seats left. Yeah, there is like a 0.01% chance that the Democrats will get the House. Okay, relax. It's all but a certainty. Oh yeah, but they're going to cheat. Okay, then call in, because this is what I want to know. I don't understand. What do we mean when we say cheating? Because you can't have the safest election, the greatest election, the freest election with Donald Trump and all of us celebrate, and then turn around in the other breath and say, "Oh, well, they're cheating." Why just one race? Why just one race? Why is it just Kari Lake? Could it be that Kari Lake is just a bad candidate? Roseanne Barr, if you're listening, don't get mad at me, please. Don't get mad at me that I come after MTG once in a while and I come after Kari Lake, because I come after everybody once in a while. You do too. And you're good about that. So I do the same thing. Don't get mad at me, because I like you. And I want you to watch my show still. But why is it that when we lose that it's cheating? Do you guys realize, do you realize now what I've been, I mean, let's have a conversation. Give me a call. Do you understand what I'm saying when I've said it for the last 4 years? That we act like the left sometimes, and now you see it. They're acting like us. And I have to say us because I'm a Republican. And even though I have never endorsed the election denier bullshit, I have to throw myself because I'm a Republican. Just like I have to malign myself with J6ers because that's what's been done to me. And I have to defend against that stuff because a bunch of idiots decided to run into the Capitol for a stolen election that wasn't stolen. It wasn't stolen. And the people who are like, well, what about the 20 million votes that are missing from the Democrats from 2020? So the right are saying, see, you guys cheated. And the left are saying, see, you guys cheated. And I'm looking at both of you guys and saying, you're both stupid. And here, this is why I won't have 1 million subscribers and why I'll never be big, because I will call out both sides. I'm fair. Republicans and Democrats are both completely stupid in this. They're just retarded. Sorry. Because it was 20 million votes 5 days ago. Then it was 15. Now it's down to 10. And soon it's going to be down to like 6. And that's probably where it's going to stop, which is showing that 2020 saw a lot of mail-out ballots. A lot of people voted because of COVID. They were home. They were accessible. They weren't working. They had nothing else to do. They had easy access to ballots because we know what the Democrats did with ballots. And we're going to show some contrition in 2024. I told you that all along. I've been telling you that for 4 years, that there's no way that this election is going to surpass 2020. It's just not going to happen, because every other election in U.S. history falls around 120 to 130 million people. And then all of a sudden we get like 161. Hello. It was 2020. And we're seeing some contrition or attrition from the voting records. Let's go look at it. Excuse me. Had a good breakfast at Tammy's. If you haven't been out to Virginia and you're going to be out this way, come see me. We'll take you to Tammy's breakfast. Holy moly. It's so good. I mean, let's look at the decision desk, okay? And I know what Benny Johnson's doing right now. Benny Johnson's telling God that, the coup is coming and the deep state, and he's getting his clicks, and I'm not going to do that. I know what I need to do to make this show have thousands of people watching, and I'm not going to lie to you. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I just can't. And I thought about it. Trust me. I'm like, okay, you know what? How am I going to change the show? How am I going to make it more entertaining, more, emotional? I can't. There's just no point. Because no matter what I do, it's disingenuous. 1,649 votes. That's in Arizona. Let's go look at presidents real quick. Overall, national vote. Okay? It's going to load. Donald Trump has 74. What did I tell you? What did I tell you? I told you on Friday that his vote count was going to fall between 3 million, like 2.5 to 3.5 million votes when all in. Didn't I tell you that? Where is he at right now? Well, let's do the math. 74,677,433. That's his, right? Those are his overall votes. Minus 71,147,000 or 71,147,974 equals. Oh, Matt, geez, it's almost like you're spot on again. Matt, however do you do it? How do you do it, Just Breaks? Because we really do care. There's the number. It's in chat. 3.5 million. So I was right again. Now, how many more votes are out there? I don't know the answer to that question, unless I break up each state. But I can tell you that California has 3.6 million votes remaining. And most assuredly, Kamala Harris is going to get 60% of those. Okay? So if we take 3.6 million and 60% of that is what? Really easy to do the math here. 2.6 million votes. Okay. So what would 40% be? Well, it's 36 times 4. Well, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's 2.16 million. So if we did the 3.16 times, if we do that, come up with 1.4 million. Okay, so the difference between the two is 720,000 votes. So take the 3.5, subtract 720,000 votes from Donald Trump's total, or from his total, and there's your gap. Okay? There's your gap. You're going to add 4 more million votes. So now instead of being 10 million, like I said, it's going to drop down to 6. Then when Arizona and New Mexico get completely done, it's probably going to be about 5 to 6 million votes less than 2020. There was no steal. That is just normal fluctuation in turnout. GOP will overproduce. Democrats will underproduce. And Trump will win the popular vote by 2.7 million votes. I said between 2.5 and 3.5. But I think overall, on Friday, I said 2.5. So 2.7 million. I was off. Oh my God, the travesty. Folks, this isn't hard. This is just basic math. There was no stolen election in 2024. Nobody stole anything. Carrie Lake lost because Carrie Lake is a bad candidate. I'm sorry. She could not win governor. They cheated. No, they didn't. They didn't like her. Because the other 17 MAGA ultra-right January 6 supporters, elections were stolen. Joe Biden's a lizard clone. Those people, they all lost. Everyone in 2022 primaries, they got their asses handed to them. They lost in 2022. Mohammed Oz, Herschel Walker, Majewski, Carrie Lake. We can go on and on and on and on and on. They all lost. All of them. 17 out of 17 of Trump handpicked candidates where he went against the grain of what the GOP wanted. They all lost. Now, Trump had plenty who won, but those people were all aces in the holes who were backed by the RNC and the GOP. The ones that the GOP and RNC did not back, they all lost. Trump learned something. Find the candidates that are popular and back the winning candidate. He did that, and that is why we had some success. But if you think that this election was just an absolute success for Republicans, you're wrong. It wasn't. This was a fairly good red wave. It was strong. It was not an insurmountable wave. The House is close. We lost some Senate races that we shouldn't have lost. Overall, a very good wave. And you're looking at it and you're going, oh my God, it's blood red. Yeah, it is blood red, but I want you to look how the Senate wound up breaking up. And it's, trust me, that's pretty even keeled. The swing states predominantly fell with Democrats. Arizona will fall with Democrats too. All the swing states pretty much fell with Democrats. Look at this. Look at this picture. Do you understand? So we won the areas we should have won. But we didn't win in Virginia. We didn't win in Michigan. We didn't win in Wisconsin, Minnesota, Nevada, and Arizona will be a loss too in the Senate because Kari Lake's not going to win. She lost. So why? How is that possible? How is it possible? Here's watch this. How does Gallego have 1.5 million votes and Kari Lake has 1.4 million votes? We might as well say 1.5. And like I said, I told you it was going to be 80,000 was she was going to lose. 80,000. Gallegos was going to win by 86,000 is what I told you on Friday. Look where it's at. It's back up to 66,000. Folks, I don't make mistakes. I'm sorry. I don't lose when it comes to these. I never lose when it comes to this. This is now with 2020, 2022, and now midterms, any runoff elections, and 2 major national elections, I have been 100% right on. Everyone will tell you, anyone who watches my show will tell you, Matt was 100% spot on everything. The only thing I thought was that Virginia was going to be possibly a little bit closer and New Hampshire was a little bit closer. But what I did tell you about New Hampshire and Virginia is that they were going to be bellwethers for the rest of the country. Virginia was going to be a bellwether for Donald Trump. If he did well in Virginia, which he did better than expected because it was called in 3 minutes in 2020, and it was 3 hours before they called it, he did much better. That was going to translate into Pennsylvania, into the Rust Belt, or the Sun Belt, and into the rest of the swing states. And it did. And then I told you New Hampshire was going to be a bellwether against Kamala Harris. That if New Hampshire looked fairly close and decent productivity with the rest of the country, and it did, that it was going to mean that she was going to do poorly. And she did. So everything that I called was right. Gallegos is beating Kari Lake. I told you that before the election was even over. I told you that on election night, that she did not have a chance based upon the number of votes. And she's not going to win. And it's going to be 86,000 votes. Go roll back on Friday and watch that show, and you'll see. Folks, we got a $4 donation here. If you've not had a chance to donate to the show, we would greatly appreciate it. We need some help. I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a little bit tight. Bobby came in with a clutch. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate you. Need some help keeping the show going. It's been a little bit slow after election, and I think that's some of our best work that we've done. I really do. And, having 300 people on, watching it, saying, man, thank you so much. Everything you said was great. It came true. That is great. We love hearing that. We need your help. If you don't have the ability, we understand. Share a like, a follow. Get out there, share us, and make sure the words are getting out. That helps out tremendously. But if you have the ability, help us out and see what you can do about possibly helping the Don't Unfriend Me show. We would appreciate it. You can click the link right down below, thedumshow.com/donate, and you will get the ability to go to PayPal or Venmo or mail if you want to help out the Dumb Show and help it grow. So that's where we are with Kari Lake. That's where we are, where we have to have some humble pie. But take a look. Thank you, Bobby. You have thank you very much, Bobby. 1.5 and 1.5 respectively. 60,000 votes, 66,000. Now watch this. Go to president, and people are flipping out. This is what they can't possibly understand. How is it that Donald Trump has 1.649 and Kamala Harris has 1.469, that Kari Lake and Gallegos got more than Kamala Harris? Now, people's argument is, how is it possible that that Gallegos got more than Kamala Harris. I'll tell you how. I'll tell you right now. In fact, instead of telling you, maybe you would just like me to show you. And I would be happy to do that as well, because I've done the work for you. And I want you to feel good about this without going, oh my God, this election, what happened? It was stolen. And being upset about something that you shouldn't be upset about because it was done right. So let me get you the numbers. Maybe. So throughout the history of elections, and we can go back fairly far. You can go all the way back to Abraham Lincoln. The question is, how is it possible that the president won on that ticket, but the party lost in other elections? Especially down ballot, because don't people just vote down ballot? No, they don't. Now, you can sit there and say, well, that's not true. Yes, it is. And you might disagree with me, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't have the evidence, then you're guessing. So what we should do is we should actually look at the numbers and identify what elections over the history of the United States have been down ballot splits. And have there been elections where there's been down ballot splits? Is it common? Does it happen once every 100 years? Does it happen once every 10 years? And I will tell you, it pretty much happens all the time. And the reason why is that most people, whether you agree or disagree or whatever, do not vote down ballot. And the reason why they don't vote down ballot is because there are situations that will stop them from doing it. One of those situations is fairly simple and something I warned you about. When I told you that certain elections are so important that they don't feel comfortable giving it to a president to have all three House, Senate, and the presidency. And that's called a mandate. Now, the reason Donald Trump got a mandate is not because of the swing states, because the swing states did exactly what I told you they were going to do. They were going to split the ticket. And this is what swing states do because they have the ultimate power. Now, luckily, the rest of the country didn't agree with that, and the rest of the country absolutely gave Donald Trump a mandate, which is why we will win the House, we will win the Senate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at all the votes throughout history, and I can't believe I didn't save this because I had it and I've been looking for it for 20 fucking minutes and I can't find the darn thing. Here it is. So the swing states, they decided that they did not trust Donald Trump with the Senate and with the House, predominantly the Senate, and decided to vote blue. That shows you a crossover of Democrat voters that did not want Kamala Harris. They did not like Joe Biden. They did not like the replacement. They don't like her vision, but they don't trust Donald Trump. So they gave the Senate to Democrats and gave Donald Trump the presidency. I told you that was a very real possibility. I told you that. I screamed that from the rooftops that this felt like that type of election, that the numbers that we were seeing were very strong for Donald Trump. But the Senate, even though I said he was going to win the Senate and the House, which I absolutely did say that, I told you that the swing states may not break for Donald Trump. And they did it. For presidency, they did, but not for the House and the Senate. But the rest of the country did. And that is why he will win the House and the Senate. But you say, well, Matt, that's rare. Everybody votes down ticket. No, you vote down ticket. And I vote down ticket. And a lot of hardcore Democrats vote down ticket. But the majority of voters are not hardcore. They're not dedicated to one party. In fact, the largest party in the United States is the party that has no affiliation. Almost 60% of eligible voters have no affiliation whatsoever to any party. Those are the people who do not vote down ticket. They vote the issue. They vote the candidate. They vote balance of power. They have no loyalty to party affiliation. That makes up most of the electorate. The Democrats and Republicans make up a very small portion compared to the entirety of people who don't vote and are non-party affiliated. So that's people who don't vote and non-party affiliated. And only about 33% of the electorate makes up party affiliation. And out of that 33%, about 57 to 58% of that is Democrat and 42 to 43% is Republican. That number has shrunk by about 3% in this election. Yeah, Kathleen says, I voted down ticket first time. So did I. But you're a Republican. And you're a registered Republican. Pretty sure. Yep. Howie says straight party. Either, but you're a registered Republican, aren't you? Or are you a registered Democrat? The thing is that most people don't vote that way. And you might say, Matt, you're crazy. Do you have any proof? Yeah, I do. Here it is. 1864, Abraham Lincoln, Republican, chose Democrat Andrew Johnson as his vice president to appeal the Unionists in both parties, resulting in a cross-party executive team during the Civil War. Split ticket. Republican William McKinley won the presidency. Many voters still supported Democrats or populist in the state and local races, especially in the South and the West, where populist candidates gained traction. 1932, Franklin Delano Roosevelt won by landslide due to the Great Depression. However, some states retained Republican governors or legislatures, especially in New England and the Midwest, where local Republican support remained. 1960, John F. Kennedy defeated Richard Nixon. Voters in southern states supported Kennedy, but often voted for conservative Democrats or even Republicans in local offices to maintain segregationist policies. 1964, Lyndon Baines Johnson, Democrat, won by a large margin. Southern voters chose Republican candidates for state and congressional seats due to opposition to the civil rights legislation. 1968, Richard Nixon, Republican, won the presidency. Democrats maintained control of Congress. As some traditionally Democrat voters split their votes favoring Nixon but keeping the Democratic representatives in office. Jimmy Carter, 76. It's pretty much every election since like 1964 or 1960. Jimmy Carter won the presidency, yet Republican candidates held on to some Senate and House seats in conservative areas, reflecting regional preferences. Gotta take my vitamins. (1980) Ronald Reagan, Republican, won decisively, but Democrats retained control of the House. Many voters favored Reagan's conservative policies, but supported Democrats locally for community and continuity on social programs. 1992, Bill Clinton, Democrat, won the presidency, yet Republicans gained in congressional and state races, especially in the South and West. 1996, Clinton was reelected, but Republicans retained control of the Congress, as moderate voters preferred Clinton's policies at the national level, but continued to support Republican fiscal policies in Congress. That's where the coin purse is. George Bush, 2000. Every election since 1960 has been a contested election, a split. George W. Bush, Republican, won the presidency in a contentious race. The only one, honestly, well, I'll tell you this in a second. Some voters in swing states like Maine split their ballots, choosing Democrats for Senate and local offices. 2004, Bush won re-election, but some states, Pennsylvania, Michigan, split their votes, supporting Democrats. Senate and House positions while voting Republicans for president. 2008, Barack Obama won the presidency, but many traditionally conservative states voted for Republicans in Congress, signaling mixed support for his policy platform. 2012 was reelected, but Republican kept control of the House, indicating that many voters supported Obama but preferred Republican representation in the balance of his policies for fiscal responsibility. 2016, Donald Trump won the presidency, but several swing states like Pennsylvania and Wisconsin split their vote, with some districts electing Democrat senators or governors. 2018, they took the House away from him. Joe Biden won the presidency in 2020, yet Republicans performed strongly in the House and Senate races in the states like North Carolina, Maine, and Georgia as voters sought a check on Democrat policies. This happens all the time. It's not a stolen vote. So Democrats, shut up. You got what you wanted. The swing states did what they felt was right. They voted for Donald Trump as president, and then they gave and wanted to remain control for the House and the Senate to Democrats because they hated your candidate. Your candidate sucked. Listen to the show and you'll find out, dude. We'll get to it. So when we sit here and we say it was stolen, well, then every other election has been stolen. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate you. So let's take it a little bit easy on this. Because every time we sit here and do this, we look like fools. We look like fools. When you look at the Senate, it's exactly like we said. You take a look at the national race for Senate, and you've got blue across, but the swing states predominantly stayed with the House and the Senate, and the rest of the country, predominantly red, voted for Donald Trump with the House and the Senate. That's what happened. Now, the House, surprisingly enough, it looks pretty good. It's going to be close, but the percentage of Democrats getting it are pretty slim. But you can see there was a ton. Now, it's hard to see, but if you take a look in South Carolina, Nevada, Arizona, this area is going to be close. These races that are still pending are breaking Democrat. This one's going to break Democrat in California. Vallado versus Salas. District 9 looks like it's going to go to a Democrat. This one's breaking Democrat. This one's breaking Republican. That one's breaking Democrat. That one's been called. This is breaking Republican. So Republicans have a lot of opportunity. This one's polling ahead. So very, very good chance that Republicans keep up. In fact, I would say that Democrats have a slim to none chance. Okay? But because of this, and I want to bring. I wish we had more people on. I wish Twitter was not down, but we can't get any bigger on Facebook. I'm ready. I'm just terrible. I should just log off. It just sucks. I can't get Facebook going, and that just blows. That really, really blows. Our Twitter, because Twitter is such a huge channel for us now. But we'll stay on. We're gonna stay on. We're gonna keep fighting through it. But it's just a bummer because I can't stand not having a lot of people on. That bums me out because you guys deserve it. But this is the first time it's been this low in a long time. I mean, it's been a while. And it's Veterans Day, and I had a feeling that it was going to be kind of slow. So it'll just be more us. It'll be more of an intimate group. Just us. And I'm fine with that. Jennifer, thank you so much for your donation. It makes the world go around, and it keeps us healthy. Thank you so much. We can't thank you enough. Really, really appreciate it. Kim, also in, giving out with $10. That also helps. Thank you guys. Really. Especially on it's a very, very nice donation morning for low numbers. You know, there's not much we can do about that, but thank you. All right. Here's what I was trying to talk about earlier. Is I received a message and multiple messages, surprisingly enough, and sometimes it's weird. Messages come in bunches, and I can't explain it. But Jason Shepard for Wimkin, I guess he's getting some job offers from the news media because of some of his predictions that were very similar to the ones that I made. His were really spot on. I think some of the inside numbers I I got a little bit more accurately, but they were very good. And I guess there's some news media stations offering him jobs. Good. Do it. Take their money. Just don't sell out to their vision. And he won't. He's an amazing human being. He's all about free speech. He's a huge friend of the show. And if you haven't been over to wimkin.com and signed up for their social media platform, do it. 9 million other people can't be wrong. But what I will tell you is that the common theme over the weekend is that I'm a Fed. You know, it amazes me that when this show gets vindicated, because not only can we win an election, and I kept telling people, vote. That was my number one. That's all I said to people, vote. Vote. They would say, stolen election. I said, I don't give a fuck. Vote. That was my answer for 4 years. Vote. Shut up and vote. Stop complaining. Stop. Just vote. I told you to do it in 2020 with the Senate when it came to Georgia, and you didn't. And you didn't vote, and we lost the Senate because of it. Hair. Told you to do it in 2022. You didn't. We lost key state races then, too, and narrowed the gap on the state when we should have had more wins. Remember the red wave in 2022 that never happened? It's because we didn't vote. Because we kept calling and talking about stupid, stolen elections. Stolen elections, stolen elections, stolen elections. Why? Well, because was the narrative, and it was coming from Trump, and it was coming from the Trump campaign. And then something happened about 18 months ago. Donald Trump stopped talking about stolen elections. I don't know who told him. I know I've been screaming it. And I'll be honest, there was no pathway to victory for Trump. Trump was not going to win this election. And if he would have stayed on course, he wouldn't have. But he changed his dialogue. He started talking about policy. He started fundamentally coming more positive and focusing on the people who were contesting his election and focusing on why they weren't the choice. And he focused on the GOP. And I thought it was fine. I don't care what he said about Carrie Lake or Nikki Haley. I don't care what he said about Ron DeSantis. I don't think it's the right thing to do, but it doesn't matter. Nikki Haley was never my choice for president. Nikki Haley was the obvious choice, along with Ron DeSantis, for running for vice president. And I was right, because they were the last two standing. And if Nikki Haley didn't get so far in the primary, she probably would have been Donald Trump's vice president. I'm just letting you know. But that became so contentious. And the bird brain comments and the neocon comments, and he just sicked MAGA all over Nikki Haley. And then they all hated her. They don't hate her now. They can't tell you why they hate her. They don't know. There's something about her. What is it? I don't know. Whatever. And now Trump just came out and said, I'm not having them on my cabinet. Mike Pompeo and Nikki Haley. Good. I don't like Nikki Haley as president. I like Nikki Haley because she brought the woman vote. That's what I wanted. He wound up getting it without her. Because why? He took her abortion policy. He switched his opinions on abortion. This is a guy who fervently did not agree with abortion, at least from a public platform premise. His social life completely different. But on a public platform, he was very much against it. Hell, he put the SCOTUSes in place to strike down Roe v. Wade. And then he became somewhat moderate on his abortion stance. And it probably won him the election. There's so many things to talk about. But I get called a Fed because I was right about 20, 22, and 24. So now, because I was right, I'm a Fed. And I'm a part of the strategy to run the cabal or some bullshit. Okay. There's a couple things. One is I was a Fed. And that's probably why the accuracy is there, is because I can smell a lie like a fart in a car. Because the same government that's trying to lie to you and be propagandizing your overall intake of information is the same government who taught me how to dispel those type of things. These things that you're hearing in the media, do you think that this doesn't happen in foreign countries and the United States isn't responsible? Do you really believe that the United States government doesn't plant stories? They don't leak things. They don't do controlled information to sway the topics of conversation in their favor? Their entire premise of operating is to ensure that they maintain control of the people. If they don't, then they have a coup. Then the people revolt, and then they lose the power. See, APB says you act like a Fed. You don't even know what a Fed is. You've never served in the federal government in your life. How do you know what a Fed is? How do you know what a Fed acts like? No, I want to know. I want to know, how do you know that? How do you know what a Fed is? And what's your definition of a Fed? Because there's many different branches of the federal government. So, do I act like an IRS accountant? See, the problem is that so many people are so disassociated with a level of intelligence that they're comfortable with that they think that anyone who speaks with a higher level of confidence is a federal officer. What you're basically saying is you talk pretty. It's coming from a place of ignorance. It used to be intelligence is something we revered and we appreciated. It used to be that intelligence and APB, if people are telling you that you talk like a Fed, that means that you talk with a level of sophistication and articulation that makes them uncomfortable, is because they can't accomplish that. That says more about you than it does me. It doesn't mean I'm a Fed. It means I'm always right. I'm sorry. I just list my wrongs. List the things that I've fucked up on. I'll wait. And the reason why, and this is a catch-22, is because when you say you're always right, you have to ask the following questions. One is it because you don't take enough risks? And we know that's not true. Second one is that's arrogance, and I'm sure you've been wrong. And the third one is nobody is perfect. Being right doesn't mean you're perfect. Being consistently correct about things doesn't mean you're perfect, because it means that there are times you will be wrong. There will be times where you don't get it right, but you make a correction on what you did and you go ahead and you fix it. You take accountability for it. And therefore, it does not become a wrong. You don't allow it to become a wrong because you tell people, I'm not sure about this. Here's the information I'm getting, and this is what I think. And then when you find out otherwise, you can't just leave that story and let it die, because then you most assuredly you're wrong. But if you come back and you're like, listen, here's an update. Here's the information I have. This is where we are now. You've made a course correction. There's a difference. It's not just about research. God, my allergies are killing me. Jeez. Hay fever, go fuck off. All right. It's not about research. It's about not presenting speculative analysis and predicting the future unless you have data to pick it up. My fucking allergies are killing me, honey. No, my nose isn't leaking. It never leaks. It fucking itches. This is a bristle brush. My fucking nose is on fire. I'm not leaking. I don't have a runny nose. I just have an itchy nose. Anyway. If you don't go off on these wild, it's not a drip. There's dry as a bone. It itches. It doesn't matter if you don't risk anything. It doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. You're just safe. I don't play it safe. I told you Kari Lake wasn't going to win. I told you Kari Lake wasn't going to win before election night. And it wasn't I think. It was Kari Lake will not win this race. Because I saw the polls. And I saw the exit polls. And I saw the demographic that was splitting for her. And she lost like 6.5% with women. You can't win an election in Arizona without women. No, it's not a rock. I have forest all around me. Pine trees, ragweed, just every type of weed known to man. And it's this time of year. Until like December 10th, I'm going to be a mess. Go watch videos from like November 5th to like December. And I'm scratching my nose throughout the shows. It's all I talk about. Like fucking nose. It itches. And I'm stuffy, but it's dry stuffy. And my eyes are watery and I got a scratchy throat, but I don't have any drip. It just itches like like, oh God, like every little hair on my beard at the end just feels like it needs to be scratched. Anyway, so we've got to stop the freak out session that I'm a Fed because I get things right, that I'm a disinformation outlet. Yeah, whatever. I'm sorry, you're stupid. That's your problem. Governors, we crushed it. We maintained the governorship. This one's bigger. This one's huge, y'all. Now, yes, it's in red areas. North Carolina would have been nice, but Robinson was a shit candidate. Robinson had way too much. How did he lose? Well, because people don't like him. Because he posted Nazi empathetic shit all over open forum. Yeah, that's not good. Yep, Delaware went for Meyer. But New Hampshire and Vermont, these are Democrat holds. These are flips. Indiana, Missouri, North Dakota, Montana, Utah, all strong. Washington wasn't close because Washingtons are a bunch of commies. So, good news. Right? So, when we look at the House right now, here are the uncalled races. You've got 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one. Oh yeah. Okay. Now see this one, huge. Alaska, Washington, all of these. Yeah, it's over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's over. There's no way. I'm just letting you know. 80% in, 76, 77. Yeah, the chances of closing a 10-point gap, a 5-point gap, a 5-point gap, a 3-point gap, a 3-point gap, a 1.5-point gap, and a fairly close gap. This one's close in Iowa. Yeah, they'll call this soon. Eli Crane won last night. That helped. So we got the House. I have a very good filtration system in my house, and I've got the highest level of filters in the system. It just doesn't matter. I get allergies. And it's because I went out to breakfast this morning and I got near it. It sucks. We have cherry blossoms are blossoming right now. I can't stand. Ever since I lived in Japan, those fucking things kill me. All right, so let's get to the rest. Put some mentholatum up your nose. No, I'm not going to do that. Sorry. I really don't feel like incinerating my mucous membranes. I'm good. I'm just going to itch my nose with my bristle brush for my goatee or my beard. See? So I'm a Fed. Fine. I'm a Fed. The only thing is I'm a damn correct Fed when it comes to the numbers. It's a weird show, folks. Weird. The numbers are killing me. Like I can't stand the fact it's so low. It's Veterans Day. People are not watching the show. They're relaxing. We're just going to get it to a couple here and then we'll come back. This is the stuff I'm talking about. Jim Jordan on CNN. I want you to listen to this real quick.
Rampant voting fraud this time. It seems to me that Republicans claim voting fraud and election integrity when you lose and not when you win.
No, I mean, again, as I said before, this election, I think, was the greatest political comeback we've ever seen. I mean, he did something that even Teddy Roosevelt couldn't do, for goodness sake. And the country.
But you think it was a free and fair election?
No. This election, you just interviewed the Latino, I think, restaurant owner or a restaurant worker, and he said he was tired of all the woke stuff. This election was real simple. You had back-to-back administrations. We got something we very seldom get in American history, American politics. Back-to-back administrations now running for the top job, and people could do a direct comparison. And they said, we like what we had under President Trump versus.
But last time around,
we like the safe streets versus the record
last time around, your leader claimed that there were problems with
secure
fraud.
Border versus the open border.
Right. Those are policies.
That's what this election was about.
That's totally fair. But last time around, it wasn't so much about the policy differences or the personality differences. There were false claims about election fraud when Donald Trump lost. This time, Donald Trump won, and you think the election was free and fair. Do you see there's a little bit of a...
No.
No, I think the Democrats got to ask, why
Disconnect
did we
there?
go from getting 81 million to getting 70 million? What happened to those 10 million people? Maybe they need to, maybe it's not smart to run an election where you have no vision, no record to run on.
Do you
and you're
believe
just
that the
gonna call the other side names?
Do you believe
and
that
you're
the
gonna use lawfare?
2024 election was free and fair?
I do. I do.
And why was it different from 2020 when he lost? Is that the only difference?
No, there were concerns about 2020 with all the mail-in voting that happened. You know, what Pennsylvania had like 2-point-something million mail-in ballots.
I want you to listen to this. That's what I told you for 4 years. But it's coming from Jim Jordan. You hear how I didn't say anything about stealing? When do I get my fucking apology? Can I? Is it time? Is it too soon? Is it too soon? I'm eating my fiber gummies. Because when you're 50 years old, being regular is important. They're delicious. And I will never drink Metamucil. Fuck that. There's no way I'm turning into my grandparents. Do I get my where's my apology? Is there anybody in here who's gonna fess up and be like, you know what, I listened to you and I thought the election was stolen? No, I'm sorry. I should have listened to you. I should have listened to now Jim Jordan, even though it's not what he was saying 4 years ago. Thank you, Michelle. I love you. You're the best. I'm just wondering, you know how much shit I got death threats for it. I had people threaten my life. Threaten my life. You liberal, you neocon, Trump hater. Of course it was stolen. Okay. It wasn't stolen. Jim Jordan's telling you it's not stolen. We all knew what happened, but what happened wasn't sexy. And the truth was Republicans got their ass kicked by judges. And you know what the Republicans said behind closed doors? Damn it, we should have thought of that. We should have got our lawyers to have emergency powers to cease all open voter registration and have a government mandated voter registration.com site established to solve the problem of just sending out votes to people. Shit. We should have done that. But we didn't. And we let Democrats do it because we're like, there's no way Trump can lose. Because in March, his approval rating was fucking through the roof, 52%. His approval rating in COVID was like 71. There was no way he was going to lose. Everybody was like, Trump's going to win again. Fuck this. We're done. They were already trying to figure out what they were going to do for 2024. And then the death tickers came on CNN, and then his popularity started moving down. Then they started hitting him on woke shit, like calling it China virus. Then they started doing some inside polling on what happened in Michigan and what happened in Wisconsin when they were 100% mail-ins during COVID restrictions. And they saw that the turnout increased, and they were like, oh, I know what we could do. Why don't we go ahead and go to court in every single swing state and force mail-in ballots out to non-registered voters who have moved into the state, moved into these bluer counties, and give them a ballot? And say the reason why they didn't register, not because they've never registered in their entire lives, but because of COVID. And judges are like, okay, it sounds good. Let's go ahead and circumvent the state constitution to do that. And then they interjected millions upon millions of ballots into the blue counties. And Jim Jordan's going to tell you right now what I've been telling you for 4 years, but nobody listened to me. Why? Because it wasn't sexy. Because Republicans didn't want to admit that they lost. Why? When do I get my apology? Yeah, Jordan is a controlled opposition. Of course he is. That's what you guys said about me. You guys said I was controlled opposition too. It's funny when people are right how they're controlled opposition. Yeah. I love that. Thank you for proving my point. Right on the nosy.
Come in without any signature verification. I do.
And why was it different from 2020 when he lost? Is that the only difference?
No, there were concerns about 2020 with all the mail-in voting that happened. You know, what Pennsylvania had like 2-point-something million mail-in ballots come in without any signature verification, which was required under Pennsylvania statute. So there were all kinds of concerns with how the 2020 election was carried out. But
there was absolutely
the biggest question Democrats need to be asking, what happened to the 10
through.
million voters that Joe Biden got that didn't come out for Kamala Harris? A bunch of them President Trump's numbers were right up where they were in 2020, but the
Higher.
Democrats were much lower. I think it's because they had no vision, no record to run on, and they just wanted to call everyone names. Turns out when you tell people, oh, you're fascist, racist, deplorable, garbage, they don't like that. And then when you use lawfare to go after their candidate, they don't like that either.
Well,
that's why they came out. So on top of the economy, on top of the price of gas, on top of the inflation, that's why they voted for President Trump.
We're at
Yeah, controlled opposition. Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing when you actually just like take away your loyalty to a person and start just being loyal to the truth and you, how many things you can find that you normally wouldn't see. That you just normally wouldn't see. But see, this is the problem. This is why I told you I will never make it big. I will never be on a show. Because there's enough blame on both sides. Because everything you think is so stupid about the Democrats right now, because all of them are doing it. Election was stolen. It was Elon Musk. Starlink went ahead and Starlink did it. Just like Dominion servers. Dominion servers did it. I'm Dinesh D'Souza, and I'm going to show you the greatest steal ever in American history. But you first have to pay me $29.99 against my paywall, and I will make sure that nobody else gets to see it. Wow, that seems legit. So stupid. Matt is right. I have 2 T's in my name, dude. Show some respect. Show a little respect. I don't think that I don't think it makes me special. I just know it's never going to make me mainstream. Because the truth isn't, you got to have a platform to do. Well, I'm doing this backwards. What I should do is sensationalize everything and then like have a moment of clarity and change my entire show to something truthful and based. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to bend down to Facebook. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you, you know, that there's a B-25 on the moon and Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor are living on it. I'm not going to tell you this shit because this only is good for clicks. And I don't want to get into the habit of lying to people in order to get them to watch. But that's what people do. I mean, I can't listen. Benny is amazing. Benny is great. He's got so many people who trust him. He's a nice guy. But all he does is shill for the right. That's all he does. He doesn't have a moment of contradictory presence about him. He's just not into reporting anything negative on the GOP. And they're going to make mistakes. I mean, right now, I'm just letting you know the GOP is about to make one of the biggest mistakes it could ever possibly make by making Cornyn the Senate Majority Leader. If they do this, it's going to be 2016 all over again. And the Republicans are going to fuck up Donald Trump's presidency. Now, Rick Scott, I don't like Rick Scott. I think Rick Scott's stupid. I'm sorry. I think Rick Scott is dumb. He's a nice guy, and he will carry water for Trump, and that's all that matters. Put him in there. Make him the Senate Majority Leader. I don't think he's... listen, I watched his... If you didn't watch Maria Bartiromo yesterday morning, go watch it. If you haven't DVR'd, I'll put it on right now if you want, and I'll show it to you. Sunday Morning Futures. And Rick Scott was on there. And she's like, go ahead, make your case. You have 2 minutes. And oh my God, it was Kamala Harris, a white Kamala Harris man. It was bad. I mean, it was really bad. I like Rick Scott. I do. It's not that I don't like him. I just don't think he's very sharp and bright. But he's kind. And he's loyal. And he's honest. And I think he'll do well. So... And America wants him. MAGA wants him. So put him in. But if they put Cornyn in, give me a fucking break. I mean, you might as well just go ahead and you might as well find the best. You might as well dig up John McCain and rinse his bones off and put him in there. Thanks, Carrie. You're the best. This is John Cornyn. And he's a total establishment, just a douche. This is a guy that believed in Russian collusion and went after Donald Trump for Russian collusion. These are the names that were floated, that were leaked as the possible Senate Majority Leader. And it's pretty sad. John Thune, John Cornyn, and Rick Scott. I would take Rick Scott. And once again, I don't want people to get mad at me. Well, why would you say mean things about Rick Scott? I'm just being honest. And I think if you ask Rick Scott, he would probably say, listen, I'm not the most articulate person in the world. I'm not the greatest presenter, but I'm a strategist. I put forward economic plans, and I'm successful. And that's good enough. But he's loyal to Trump. That's what we need. Cornyn, he believed in Russian collusion. Don't put this guy on there, please. For the love of God, what are you doing? You know what you should do? You should get Eli Crane and Luttrell and Boebert. Yes, Boebert. Get Boebert. She's got to be doing something right. She moved districts and still won. Listen, breasts are a powerful motivator for voting. I wanted to vote for her boobs. I live in Virginia, though, so I couldn't. I almost relocated to Colorado for 6 months so I could vote for Lauren Boebert's boobs. They're spectacular. She is phenomenally hot. But that's why MAGA loves her. It's not because she's done anything. What has she done? Nothing. She voted for Kevin McCarthy, or she was absent for Kevin McCarthy's vote for Speaker. Marjorie Taylor Greene's the one that voted for Kevin McCarthy. But her boobs are spectacular. Just a refresher. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. But you go to those people and you ask them, what do you think of these candidates? What do you think of Thune? What do you think of Cornyn? What do you think of Scott? And they're going to tell you the answer. The answer is going to be no, no, and yes. Because that is the answer. That's the only answer. Because Donald Trump has a mandate. And the American people want a MAGA Senate Majority Leader. There's Lauren Boebert's boobs. Congratulations. I almost voted for her boobs. Swear to God. I looked for it. I went on the ballot and I looked both sides because it would have to take both sides of the ticket. Didn't see them. Now, one day I may run into her and she might be like, you call me Lauren Boebert. Why do you do that? And I'm going to say, listen, I mean it with the utmost respect. The utmost respect. You're smoking hot. And I think the reason why you're successful in politics is because you're smoking hot. And there's nothing wrong with that. But until you actually pass meaningful legislation, and don't give me some obscure piece of legislation that you co-sponsored. I don't give a fuck about that. Show me how you're going to take Colorado back. Show me how you're going to return Colorado and ensure that places like Eagle and Rifle and Durango and Grand Junction and Pueblo and Denver not only continue its Republican resurgence to take that state back. Show me how you're going to get marijuana to be removed from Colorado because it has done more harm than good overall for the economy of Colorado. Housing prices have been driven up because of cash buyers coming from California. How are you going to slow that down? Show me what you're going to do for Colorado. Show me what you're going to do to limit the flow of water that actually goes into California and the amount that they're dumping into the ocean. When are we going to stop that? Do something for Colorado. Do something for the states. Otherwise, I'm going to recognize you for your best attribute, which are your boobs. You've got great boobs. You're hot. And that's good enough for the voters of Colorado. It's not good enough for me. And that's why I don't want guys like Cornyn and Thune in here. I'll take Rick Scott. Why? Because Florida is one of the most successful states in the union for Republicans, and it will remain to do so with guys like Scott, Marco Rubio, and DeSantis in the positions that they're in. So give Florida, every single person in Florida should be tapped. But the thing that we have to start asking ourselves is if we continue to take politicians who are in the House and in the Senate, we're risking ourselves to go ahead and cannibalize the House and the Senate and lose our majority for an election that could be overturned. Now, I feel really comfortable with Stefanik, who was just tapped as U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. That's going to be fine. Because that district went 64% for Stefanik. But when you start tapping Scott and other people for your cabinet, are we putting the House and the Senate in jeopardy? Yeah. You better make sure that the people you're polling are in 65, 70% districts. If they are, then that election will most assuredly go Republican. But you better be sure. Because special elections are dangerous. Didn't we just lose one in Kentucky in 2022 that we expected to win? I think it was Kentucky. MTG was Kevin's biggest fan for some reason. You want to know why, Riley? Because he gave her $174,000 from his political action committee for her campaign. Same with Lauren Boebert, and they all voted for him. They broke away from the Freedom Caucus for him because he gave money to their reelection campaigns. He owned them. What's hilarious is Liz Cheney voted for Donald Trump 93% of the time. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert voted against or voted for Kevin McCarthy for Speaker. And the Freedom Caucus didn't. And Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert are a part of the Freedom Caucus. Lauren Boebert didn't show up. She was a no-show for the vote. But MTG voted for Kevin McCarthy, like multiple times. Now, people, Matt, why do you hate Marjorie Taylor Greene? I don't like people talking bullshit about Jewish space lasers and expect me to take them seriously. I think the right has some very bad apples, just like the left does. And we've got to get this clown show in the fucking House and Senate. These people should be the people who we would follow. Would you follow Marjorie Taylor Greene into combat? Would you follow her in an executive boardroom? Would you follow her in a PTA fucking meeting? And if the answer is no, then why are you following her as she is an elected representative who's supposed to represent you? She's not your leader. None of these people are leaders. These people are simply elected representatives. They're supposed to do what you say. Do you trust Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert to lead an executive board meeting? A city council meeting? Your local frickin' charity cupcake jamboree on the block? No. Then why the hell are you giving them keys to the frickin' to the piggy bank? Why are you giving them keys to make legislative decisions that are huge? Glenn, donations are $117, brother. You're unless somebody wants to make a $60 donation, we're way off. By the way, donations were at 117, goals 150. Just thought I'd let people know. You can go to thedumshow.com/donate. Appreciate you. See, people are like Mike Johnson. AP says Mike Johnson turned out to be the perfect rhino. Why? Why do you think Mike Johnson's a rhino? Give me some examples of how he's a rhino. I'm interested. I want to hear this. So confusing. I don't understand why you would think he's a rhino. Has he not been loyal to Trump? Now, if you want to say he's a rhino because he didn't get any legislation passed and really didn't do anything, well, I'm not going to disagree with that, but that doesn't make him a rhino. What makes someone as a rhino is that they're Republican in name only, is that they vote against Republican initiatives. Tell me how he did that. Look what has happened under his watch. We gained the House, we gained the Senate, we gained the presidency, we gained the gubernatorial, We're going to be able to put up to 2 seats, if not 1 seat in the Supreme Court. Yeah, it's horrible. What shit? What shit? You're right, Mike Johnson. Wow, overtook the House for 2022. Is going to retain the House in 2024. Senate's been expanded. I don't know. What's happened under his watch? Help me understand. What has not happened under his watch? How does that make him a rhino? Just so what you're saying is that the things that he didn't do demonstrate that he's a Republican in name only. Doesn't it just mean that he is a status quo politician? Do we even understand the definition of rhino, people? Or do we just go ahead and say it because somebody said it and it sounds cool? Everybody's a rhino. You guys called Liz Cheney a rhino. She voted with Donald Trump 93% of the time. How is that Republican in name only? She was number 11 out of all senators and state legislators, the most loyal to Donald Trump's policies, number 11. And out of 400 plus, 500 plus, 537, right? 42, 542. Top 11. How does that make her a rhino? Okay, then let's change the definition of rhino then. Because Thomas Massie is one of your favorite people on the planet, yet he voted with Democrats 51% of the time. The only time he hasn't is this year because it's an election year and he voted 74% of the time. Thomas Massie has one of the worst records for the freedom ranking out of any state legislature or senator in Washington, yet he's one of everybody's favorites and he is a rhino most assuredly. So which is it? Is it rhino? Or is he's a person who uses the name Republican and votes Democrat, which is what a rhino is? Or we just don't like him. Now he's a rhino. Because I've been called a rhino too. Even though I promise you, I have been more into conservative and Republican politics, studied and worked for more campaigns than anyone who has ever watched me. And I've been doing this shit since 6 years old. And I'm a rhino to people. Why? Well, because I said the election wasn't stolen. Or I said January 6th was stupid. You're a rhino. How the fuck am I a rhino because I think January 6th was stupid? The question is, how do you call yourself an American and say that you don't think January 6th was stupid? You don't have to call it an insurrection. Just say it was stupid. It was stupid. What was accomplished? Nothing. Oh, we got a girl murdered. That's good. Freedom and democracy, baby. What did we do? We didn't do anything. Made ourselves look stupid. We excused 2.5 billion and almost 200 riots from BLM and made them look somehow magnanimous. How is that possible? Only Republicans can steal the jaws of defeat, or steal defeat from the jaws of victory. Steal defeat from the jaws of victory. Seriously. Liz Cheney is a perfect example. She's a rhino, but she's not. Not in the modern definition of what a rhino is, a Republican in name only. It's not. She's actually more Republican than most Republicans, surprisingly enough. She's a complete shill, a piece of crap who sold her soul for the demagoguery of the Democratic Party and bought into the J6 narrative because she didn't like Trump, because her daddy doesn't like Trump. That doesn't make her a rhino. It makes her a horrible person. I guess it could be he is just a deep state shill. It's really one team. What does that mean? How? How is he a deep state shill? Give me an example. Angle of attack matters, doesn't it? It's despotic government, no accountability with what? Well, then all of them are. Then so is Donald Trump too, because Donald Trump's a politician. So they're all despots. All of them. They're all demagogues. So the entire Washington system, there's no hope for anything, right? Okay, well, you can't do that. Then if you apply hope to some and say Donald Trump we can apply hope to, or maybe we can apply hope to Rick Scott, or maybe Ron DeSantis, hopefully Ron DeSantis, he delivered Florida. Okay, so we can give it to those people. Well, then there were exceptions to that. What were the qualifications that made them not rhinos? And shouldn't you apply the same metrics to those other people? Of course. Okay, so if Ron DeSantis, Rick Scott, Marco Rubio are not rhinos, well then, neither is Liz Cheney. Because the only thing Liz Cheney did ever against Donald Trump was January 6th. So she's not a rhino. She is a person that lacks honor
and loyalty and credibility and does not represent her constituency, who did not want her to do. In fact, America didn't give a shit about J6. Nobody watched the January 6th committee. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about Donald Trump's trumped up charges because they know it's fake. They watched it happen. They saw the lawfare. Literally one day, nothing's going on. And then he's got like fucking 97 indictments. And people are like, what the fuck just happened? He's got cases coming out of the left, the right, up, down, out of the sewer, jumping out of planes, crawling through the ceilings like ninjas. You don't think America saw that? Of course America saw that. All right. So we agree. Liz Cheney's not a rhino. Liz Cheney is just a morally depraved human being. Okay, good. That's easy. That's fine. But I'm sick of the term rhino. It's an actual term that has been used since the 70s. And it has meaning. It's a person who uses the R to protect their district, but votes Democrat to vote their conscience. And it goes both ways. Dino or rhino. Or what people say, Dino. It's not Dino, it's Dino. If rhino is rhino, then dino is dino. It's not Dino. Because Dino is a fucking little dinosaur in the Flintstones. And just because you know that, it doesn't mean that's how it's pronounced. It's Dino and Rhino. Not Dino. Rubble. Bonnie. Bonnie Rubble. Trouble. You gotta watch Ocean's 13 to understand that. It's not keeping us arguing. No. Government is not one bird. That drives me crazy. Dude, APB, you need to call in. I'm done fucking talking to you in chat. If you want to have a conversation, you bring up too much shit that distracts from the show. I can't do it. I got to stop. And it's not that it's not good shit. It's just one that's meant for a conversation on the phone. It's not meant for monosyllabic chat. I can't do it. But government isn't a different wing of the same bird. I've used that terminology, same shit, different pile. But it's not. We've clearly proven that, haven't we? So what you're saying is there's no difference between the parties. And that's completely not true. There are vast similarities that make their differences immaterial. Their gross negligence for spending, their ability to self-aggrandize and to steal from influence peddling in Washington, their lack of ethics, their lack of consciousness when they're connected to their voters. All of these things are true. But there is a very clear difference between Republicans and Democrats in Washington, D.C. It's like I said, the glaring opportunities overwhelm the consistencies that are the differences in the two parties. Because there's only one party that wants to tear apart the Constitution of the United States, and that's not Republicans. There's only one party that wants to expand big government. Okay? And Republicans have. And the 2016, 2018 Congress did that. But a lot of people consider Space Force to be expansion of government. And although it is expansion of government, it is necessary to protect the sovereignty of the United States. And space is like saying, well, you know what? We're not going to go ahead and have a deep sea navy because it's not important to us. But then as soon as Russia and other countries get deep sea subs that can deliver ballistic submarine missiles and nuclear warheads on us in a matter of minutes, all of a sudden deep sea navy becomes important. Well, it shouldn't become important once the threat's here. It should be preemptive before the threat appears. So Space Force is a necessity for proactive defense. But there's only one government and portion of the government who wants to indoctrinate our children. There's only one who are putting pornographic material inside our classrooms that are inappropriate. There's only one government who's pushing LGBTQ theory, 1619 Project theory in our schools and manipulating our children and sexualizing our kids. There's only one term of office and administration that's lost 330,000 kids to sex trafficking in the United States over their presidency, and one of them completely denies that it's taking place, and that's the Democrats. Democrats completely say it's not true. Nope, never happened. Really? Because that is true. And there are numbers to prove it. They're the only ones that are saying crime doesn't happen in the United States, yet we know that they're fudging the numbers. They also tell us that the jobs report looked great. Yeah, it sure did for 3 quarters. Isn't it amazing The day before the election, the job reports come out, and it's absolute dog shit, the worst we've seen in years. Why? Well, because they've been fluffing the numbers. There's a very big difference between Republicans and Democrats. They have openly embraced war. Donald Trump did not. Donald Trump put 3 peace treaties in place, which was absolutely historic in the Middle East. 18 months, not one American soldier was harmed in Afghanistan, and we were still in country. I'm not sure you know what you're saying. Yeah, whatever, dude. Yeah, I'm done. There's a reason I think I banned your other account, dude. It's because it was always this. It was just these obscure fucking off-topic phrases, and I yeah, it just pulls from the show, bro. I mean, not that the show is, you know, the cat's meow, but you're just bleh, you're just diarrhea of the mouth, everything, and it doesn't correlate to what we're talking about. Like I just gave you direct differences between two parties, and you come back with something about the militia. I don't understand. Yeah, whatever. Criminal government doesn't follow laws. You're just fucking, dude. You're just punting and switching goalposts, and you're not even on topic, bro. So got to just see ya. I remember you now. Really liked you when I first met you, but yeah, you drive me crazy. You drove me crazy the first time. Tom Homan, border czar. It's kind of hilarious that he actually took the title border czar. Donald Trump put him. He's not going to be Department of Homeland Security, but he is going to essentially do oversight and be responsible for all things border, which will be mass deportation. He be in charge of ICE, be in charge of Border Patrol, Department of Homeland Security, overseeing the efforts to deport people from the United States, illegals. And if you don't know who he is, this is Tom. And here's an excerpt between him and Mr. Buck.
I wish somebody in Democratic leadership would say that out loud. Look, you want to know why there's 50,000 people in detention? You want to know why we have 1 million illegal entries in the United States? You want to know why we have these issues? Because you have failed to secure the border. You have failed to work with this president to close the 3 loopholes we've asked for 2 years to close. So if you want to know why this issue exists, you need to look in the mirror. You have failed American people for not securing the border and closing loopholes.
Mr. Homan, please respect the chair and the authority.
Jaya Powell. God. One-eyed Willie. God, that woman drives me crazy.
Of the chair. The time of the gentleman has expired.
I've asked you politely to let me go beyond my time, and you let other people go beyond their time, but not to Tom Homan. He don't get me go beyond his time.
Mr. Homan, we have approved an agreement.
Jaya Powell's going to start throwing Play-Doh soon. God, this woman, she's such a pile of shit.
Between the Republicans and the Democrats with the ranking member, we increased the time of one witness, one member of Congress who was interrupted by a protest. That is done with the approval of the ranking member. Please respect the chair's authority.
I respect the chair's authority, but the chair...
Mr. Homan!
You work for me. I'm a taxpayer.
Dude, I'd shove that gavel
I'm a
so far
taxpayer.
up her
You work for me.
I love him. Like, you don't reserve... They don't... Okay. They are nothing. They hold no power over you. They can't write a fucking parking ticket. They are not the executive branch. They are the legislative branch. They propose legislation. They control the purse strings. They have oversight. They cannot do anything to you without a court of law. They cannot hold you in contempt. Now, if they subpoena you and they choose to go ahead and hold you accountable, it's not them that does it. The Senate and the state legislature doesn't do it. They have to have the Department of Justice do that. You could double park and not one of those pricks could do anything to you. You could stand up and say, go fuck yourself. And they can't do anything to you. That is called freedom of speech. And her banging a gavel, I'd say, lady, that ain't going to fucking do nothing. You gave other people time. I requested time. Tell me why it's denied. You asked me a question. I'm trying to answer it. You refuse. And you banging me down is just making you like a child with a temper tantrum. I love him. Love him. And honestly, one of the best picks Trump could have made.
The witness will suspend.
It's literally like watching a child.
So, Aqua Tofana. Does anybody know this story? This one's interesting. It's 17th century Italy, and it was crafted from, I believe, from like belladonna, and it was disguised as a cosmetic. And Aqua Tofana is a poison. And there was a rumor that this, not a rumor, but there's a story that this was used to poison figures in Italy. Hold on. I don't know if I can play this because of the fucking music. God, these copyrights. So this is what it says. Sure, your body, our choice. I'm going to turn this down because I don't think it's important to have the music.
Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
So this is in response to Nick Fuentes gaslighting. Now, okay, I tried to explain Nick Fuentes to you people, and you guys didn't believe me. You didn't believe me. Do you remember I showed you the clip where he's like, if I had a choice to vote for this woman or Adolf Hitler, he's like, oh, Adolf Hitler for sure. He's like, would you rather have your wife or Adolf Hitler? And he's like, oh, it's got to be Adolf Hitler. Because I'm not going to let you catch me contradicting myself. And they flipped out. I tried to explain Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes is a pimple on the ass of society. He is a master manipulator. He's excellent at it. He is fantastic at spinning narratives. He is great at getting you to, he gaslights people like crazy, and he's good at it. And there are times that he's serious. But he was like, when Trump got in, he's like, your body, my choice. And he gaslit, and they all doxed him for it. I mean, it was bad. So I got to show you that first. Nick Fuentes, your body. And it's absolutely something I would say. But here's the video.
Guess what?
And I don't like Nick Fuentes. Everyone knows I've went after the Groypers stalk my ass, and they're putzes, and I punt them. They're whatever. You know, I think a lot of the Groypers and a lot of the Nick Fuentes America First they're just trolls. They recognize the stupidity of the left, and they're just really good at baiting them. This is a perfect example of that. He doesn't think this. He doesn't. He may say it, but I don't believe he. Just watch. I laughed when I saw it. I was like, okay, because I get Nick's sense of humor now. He's just doing it to be shocking. He's a shock jock. He's like Howard Stern. And everyone was like, oh my God, Howard Stern, puts women who masturbate on air. Yeah. Who cares? Really? Nick Fuentes is a shock jock. And on election night, he had 75,000 viewers at a time on his show. And I got to say, that was better than some of the big names. So just listen to this, then I'll show you the Aqua Tofana reaction. Here it is.
Feel when we control your bodies? Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling? Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the global empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice.
Come
feel
on.
when
You can't, you got to laugh a little bit, because that's the antithetical position of the left. That when the left is so crazy, they want to control my body, they want to make me a Stepford wife, they want to put me in an iron cough. He's gaslighting them by acting like them, but on the opposite side. He's the one that said right after Trump was elected, now we can implement Project 2025. We were going to do that all along. And people fucking just are melting down over it. He's just gaslighting the shit out of people. And it's glorious, honestly. I don't like Nick. But now that I understand him a little bit, I can appreciate some things that he does. This is golden. It's something I would do. I would absolutely do. If I had a feminist come on and she's just like, oh, Donald Trump's going to kill us all, I'd be like, well, then, maybe that's what's needed. We need to thin out the herd a little bit. He's just trolling you. And you're just taking it. So what do? They dox him. They post his home address and photos on Google where he lives. Ugh, okay, come on. Give me a break. You're going to dox this guy? So he has to go get private security now. And you know what? That's stupid. Doxing is such pussy. What a pussy move. It's just like narking on your buddy in high school who, you guys steal a 6-pack of beer and you get clipped by a teacher for drinking in the parking lot. And then immediately when that teacher comes in, you're like, dude, don't say a word. Don't say a word. Just stick to the story. Stick to the story. We found the beer. And then right when that teacher goes, oh, boys, what happened here? Your asshole friend to your right goes, no, these guys stole it. I didn't do it. They made me drink it. And you're just like, dude, you fucking narc. If you dox people, that's what you are. You're the bitch in the front seat who gets caught by the truancy officer and you roll all your friends because you don't want to get caught with a 6-pack of beer. So then Nick, listen, Nick, knowing he has a gold mine here of clicks and he can make a shit ton of money off this, because everyone who hates him, there will be 10 people who love him for this, because he's owning the left. So here it is. Then he replies this way. And then we'll get to the Aqua Tofana.
But I'm going to be honest with you. Women are fucking retarded. Okay.
Jesus.
Because how many TikToks have you seen in the last 48 hours of women crying and filming themselves crying? They're crying and they go, and then they film themselves to sad music.
It's kind of true.
And it's like, you're a fucking retard. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? For whatever reason, they kind of enjoy it. It's like they get a sick kick out of this. For some reason.
Take off the retarded part. I don't like the word. I try not to use it. I've used it. It's not my favorite. I don't think you should. And I'm not trying to be like a wokey here. But come on, retarded's a little, I mean, we've known for, probably about 3 decades that word wasn't the best. But listen to what he's saying. It's not inaccurate. He's not saying all women. Just like when I said I like women with longer hair, some people with short hair got pissed off. I didn't say all women. I just said he's saying the ones on TikTok, okay? Don't be the media where it's like there's some very fine people on both sides and be like, he likes the Nazis. He said both sides, and he wasn't talking about the Nazis, and he wasn't talking about the Black Panthers and the Antifa. He was talking about the people who were protesting for and against the Robert E. Lee statue, you idiots. So let's just relax.
And they like it. They like this whole routine that they do when Trump wins and they're in mourning for days. And they're curled up on the couch in a blanket watching Rachel Maddow and crying and going, be kind to one another today. It's almost like they like it. They film themselves on TikTok huffing and puffing and crying. It's okay. Yeah. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. I mean, when men lost, we did? We raged. When men lost in 2020, we went out there and we went to the Capitol and we said, fuck the government. And it was awesome. People were running through the hallways with American flags. It was like...
This is a guy that was there and was not prosecuted one little bit and probably rolled over for the federal government. I don't like his takes, but this take, I like the first video. Second one is stupid.
But what's interesting is the reaction that this got. So now it's gone from in truly a harmless gaslighting situation where you're being trolled to now they want to kill him. And they dox him and put his address out there. And listen, once again, I think Nick Fuentes needs to get punched in the nose. And his comment, what? I can't have free speech? You want to hurt me? You want to fight me? No, I just think you need to get your ass kicked. And I think one of these days you're going to meet a woman who's going to set your ass straight. And you're going to get your dick knocked in the dirt. And you're going to grow up, right? The best thing for Nick Fuentes is honestly have him join the military. I think Nick Fuentes would do... He'd be able to use that brain for something other than just being a complete troll. But you know what? He's got his life. He's happy. He loves it. He's doing what he's doing. Great. Whatever. I don't care. Good for him. My point is that one of these days he will grow up. He will find that woman and he will probably get married or divorced. But either way, he's going to get his dick knocked in the dirt and hopefully he grows up. But using a poison? No. Here's the video. Watch this.
Your body, our choice.
I got that.
Giulia Tofana. She is responsible for the deaths of over 600 abusive husbands in 17th century Italy. If you have 600 husbands, maybe the problem is you. Crafted from belladonna flowers, the other toxins, Giulia would sell her product by word of mouth to women in need. Oh, so she didn't have 600 husbands. She helped the mass murder of 600 husbands. Oh, well, that makes it okay then. Her poison was called Aqua Tofana and would have came in a bottle disguised as cosmetics. We should do that. Who wants to get into with me? We can make a perfume called Aqua Tofana. Not only does it clear your insides, it takes away your problems with one spritz. Give me a break. Dude, what the fuck? Turn this shit off. I don't want to get copyrighted for 24-hour baby machine, 24/7 baby machine. Dude, it's not the babies that we like. We like the sex to make the babies. And then what happens is you get pregnant and then we don't get sex ever again. And we have indentured servitude raising a family for 18 years as you use sex as a weapon against us. I think we've had enough. You know what? Fuck it. Poison us. It is debated whether Giulia, whatever, who gives a fuck, was found and tried and after a woman got cold feet, or whether she went on to die naturally of old age. Bitter old age with a dried up womb. Here you go.
Am I right? Aqua Tofana.
They've never heard listen, here's the problem, is that they have never heard of it before. So somebody finds some obscure passage that they read about in a fucking book, and now it is everyone embraces it, right? They don't understand the story. They don't understand the etymology of the story. They don't understand the meaning. They don't understand that it was probably used for extremely abusive husbands in a power struggle. Now your husband doesn't want you to get an abortion, so you're going to poison him to death. How fucking, you know what? This is where I've got to give Nick Fuentes credit. I don't know what other word to use. I guess retarded isn't it, because retarded people aren't stupid necessarily, okay? You're just an idiot. You're devoid of intelligence. That's the best description I can give you.
If you know, you know.
Oh, come on, man. I don't want the copyright. I can't believe this. How can we show how stupid you are when you put music on there that gives us a copyright strike? Can I be honest? Like every single one of these are butt-ass ugly. And they all have a bull ring in their nose. Is she pretty? I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. You're covering your face. What the fuck are you doing?
Oh my God. She should drink it herself. A corpse-like appearance might be an improvement. What the hell? You can smell her desperation. I mean, ugh. Oh God. What is, see, what is up with the bull ring? Do they all share a hive mind? Oh my God. She wants to kill us down with, oh, jeez. So that's it. So Nick Fuentes gets his address published on the open internet because he makes a tasteless joke. And now women believe that all men should die. Or at least that this guy should die. Scott Jennings.
Questions at the Pentagon. Man,
I don't watch a lot of Alex Jones, but I will give Alex Jones credit. Your cinematographer did a wonderful job. The lighting is fantastic. You got a little bit of a tan. It takes away some pounds. It looks like you're lightening up, Alex. The backdrop is amazing. It's a very well shot studio. I'm very impressed. The depth is fantastic. You're perfectly lit. Sound is banging. Whoever you have, much better job. Looks good. So let's listen to this.
Know at what level this is. It just seems like it's informal discussions. I guess it's understandable they would have those discussions. It also, Scott is.
So this is about the DOD, Pentagon specifically, meeting in secret to essentially hijack, interrupt, detour, or eliminate Donald Trump's presidency, and high levels meeting together on the threats that this poses. It's some crazy shit. And here's the comment.
Look, I don't like this because what's Donald Trump supposed to think? You know, he's sitting down there, he's the president-elect, and now he's got to read in the newspaper tonight that the unelected bureaucracy.
A lot of people like Alex, and he's been warning us for years, but he's also muddled his reputation by saying some shit that is incredibly stupid. Okay? I'm not saying I dislike Alex Jones. I think he has value, and I think he has said some things that are absolutely honest. But the people that are like, Alex Jones been right about everything. No, he has not. In fact, he has been right about a great many things. It doesn't mean that I don't find him entertaining. I lost a lot of respect for him after Sandy Hook. A lot of respect. And it's hard for me. That's just, it's not about crossing a line. There's freedom of speech, but then that to me that's not speech. And no matter what you can say as a parent, if your child's life has been ended in a way like that, in any way, shape, or form, and predates your own demise, living without a child or watching your child die has to probably be one of the worst things imaginable. I've never experienced it. I don't want to experience it. The last thing they need is a nationally watched, publicly available person claiming that something didn't happen that did multiple times, a shit ton of times over a period of 2 years, and double down, triple down, quadruple down every single time possible, which created threats from viewers, people discrediting them, going to their house, mailing them shit. That is, to me, is pretty damaging. That is using your platform for something that it doesn't matter how much good you've done. That level of bad is enough to remove any type of positive intent towards you that I would have. That's all. Like, I don't like that shit at all. And if I lost my child to a school shooting and Alex Jones decided to go ahead and say that it was a false flag and didn't happen and was staged, and if I ever ran across him, I would probably go to jail. So that's my point. And well, can't you forgive him? No, I don't think I want to. Right? It's too soon. I don't.
I don't think he has demonstrated enough. I don't want an apology from him. I want an admission of telling the truth. Like, I want him to be humble enough to really research this event, to get down there, to go with a few of the officers involved of the scene when they arrived and talk to the people who don't want to rip his face off and really listen to it. That's what I would want from him. If you really want to get the story, go report it correctly, right? Go find out what happened. And if you believe that still, then, man, you've paid $1 billion, which you never will, but you're going to, for the rest of your life, owe these families money. You have a right to say whatever the hell you want at this point. Because I don't think lawfare should stop the freedom of speech unless that freedom of speech takes away someone else's rights or impedes on their rights. And that really is the law. He most assuredly did that. But if he investigates it and he truly dives into it and there is pertinent information that demonstrates, he can expose it. But what he will find is that what he reported is very much fictitious, is not true, did damage to people. And then you might find a reflection on him that does more good than the harm it did, because he can admit, I was wrong. Here's what I found. And not only is this what I believe, this is what's true. And I think in my eyes, that would have been an amazing thing for Alex Jones to do, that would not have resulted into a billion reasons for him to do it because it's money attached to it now. I think if he would have shown some remorse for what he said and done those things and done it from a place of learning and not from a place of just knowing what he was saying was wrong and saying it anyway for clicks, to me, that's serious, to me. But I don't judge him. It's like, if I ever met Alex Jones, I'd put my hand in his hand. I'd love to have a conversation with him. And I'd say, dude, this is what I appreciate about you. I thought what you did with the Bohemian Grove was incredible. I thought what you were doing 25 years ago was the start of what people are doing now in street reporting and citizen journalism. I got to give you credit for that. There are thousands of things that I think you've done right. But I think that the stuff you've done wrong has discredited from the things you've done right, because you simply can't admit you're wrong. You can't admit you're wrong about the Lahaina fire. You can't admit you're wrong about Jewish space lasers. You can't admit you're wrong about secret bioweapon labs in Ukraine. But you know what? People should listen to you about sex trafficking, and that there is a underground group of people who are exploiting and trafficking children in the United States and through Hollywood and all over the world. Yes. Maybe we can talk about frogs and transsexual frogs and find out, a little more about that. But your conversations that you would have that would move people to a place of discovery has made them closed off and almost cauterized any opportunity of true thought and exploration, because you were such a sanctimonious dick when it came to Sandy Hook. And I'm sure he can critique me on things and say, you're boring. You go off too long. You're not shocking enough, and all these things are true, and that's fine. And it's criticism. The difference between his and mine is that it's opinion. And mine is not based on opinion. Mine isn't based on the way he looks or talks. I really like his voice. I like his attitude. I like his look. I like a lot. I just compliment him on his set. I think it looks awesome. I just don't like what he did with Sandy Hook, and I don't like some of the fake stories he puts out for clicks, and I think he knows it's not real, and it misleads his audience, and it lowers his credibility. That's what I think. Tracy says, I saw him on Glenn Beck on a podcast they talked about. I did see that, and I saw the one with Joe Rogan, and I liked it. I like him. But even Joe Rogan calls him out and goes, dude, you're a trip, man. What are you talking about now? You know what I mean? So here we go.
Of the federal government is having meetings at some level about how to thwart or countermand the commander-in-chief. I don't care if it's at the Pentagon or at the HUD or Ag Department. It doesn't matter. The unelected bureaucracy of this government answers to the civilian and duly elected leadership that we just did. And what if you were in his shoes and you just won the popular vote with a clear mandate, and now you got to read that these unelected bureaucrats are plotting against you? What would you think if
But
they
I
have
think there's a
problems?
reason
If
for
they
that,
let
though.
me finish. If they have problems, they should not have meetings that then leak to the press. If they have ideas or things, they should call the president's office and say, "Hey, we'd like to have some discussions for planning purposes." But secret meetings that leak, terrible way to get off to a start with the new administration.
Well, I agree that that's maybe not the best way to do it. However, Trump has set them up to be in this situation where
Thank you, Bobby.
they think that he's coming after them.
While other networks lie to you.
Okay. Looking at this from a perspective that is trying to be balanced, Scott's right. I mean, you can't be having secret meetings in regards to the president of the United States unless those meetings have a clear agenda that's communicated to all parties involved. Because when you hear secret meeting in the Pentagon, the first thing you think of is some sort of seditious conspiracy, right? When very well this meeting could have been about parking for inauguration or, security or international threats or logistics or a million other things in the Pentagon. Because, folks, I don't know if you've ever been to the Pentagon, but it's big. And that's just what you see. I have been into the recesses of the Pentagon, and I have been to the overall sightline of the Pentagon, what you see from the outside and what you see from the inside and what you don't see from both. And I'll tell you that it is a massive, massive, massive building. And there are many different missions inside that building. And it really is the epicenter for the intelligence world for all information to pass to in one capacity or another. So when you say there's a meeting, it could be for a plethora of stuff. And we don't know what the topic was. So I got to give CNN credit. Well, I'll give Scott credit first, is that he's right. That should be well known what it is. If it's going to get out, you should have a minutes of what took place. Otherwise, you're opening it up to just feed the deep state machine. And on CNN's credit, Trump has said that he's not a big fan of the intelligence agencies and that he ultimately is going to, have some heads roll. And if that was a meeting with department heads getting together and saying, okay, this is going to be our stance and this is how we're going to react, and this, okay, that's fine, but that should have been made public, because anything else does look like seditious conspiracy, is my point. And I really hope it doesn't happen. I really do. I really hope at some point people say, he's the president, let's get behind him and see what he can do, because the American people gave him a mandate. This is Donald Trump announcing reciprocity at a federal level. I'm telling you right now, this will not fly. And basically what it says is no matter which state you're in, your concealed carry license will be acceptable across all 50 states. You can't do that. Concealed carry is a state level issue, and the issuance of a concealed carry and the acceptance of out of state concealed carries is a state issue. You can make it a federal law that reciprocity is accepted on all federal levels, and in a federal case that will be okay, but not in a state case. You can't do that from the state. So this is just a wish and a dream. But this is the video. Take a listen.
Seventh, I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under siege, and I will sign concealed carry reciprocity. Your Second Amendment does not end at the state line. In addition,
So once again, from a federal perspective, that's great, but the states get to decide that, and that's up to them. So unless you make a constitutional amendment that reciprocity is federally across all. Now, if you want to say that you could get that past the line, well, that's a completely different story, but you're going to need the Senate and the House to help decide that. And even if you make it a federal law that it's okay, you will be protected under federal law, but state and local governments can still decide. For example, let's look at sanctuary cities. Although sanctuary cities are against federal law, states have decided to go ahead and do what's best for them. And even though they are in contempt of what federal law requests, it doesn't matter. It's the reserve powers of the states.
So the federal government can say that they're going to withhold funds and, withhold water and withhold any type of aid, but in the long run, they don't. Donald Trump cannot leverage that. He's not going to hold back roadways and bridges and piss off an entire state's constituency that he wants. And he certainly wouldn't do that in a swing state. So you can't expect him to do that when it comes to this, if he wouldn't do it for something like sanctuary cities. You get my point? So he can pass a federal executive order, but that's not going to do anything. So in order to do this, you would need a 2/3 majority to make this a constitutional provision of the Second Amendment that reciprocity, it wouldn't even go across the second. It would be the 28th Amendment, and it would have to be completely separate from the second. That reciprocity is federally, it's a mandate across all 50 states that federally reciprocity is okay. And then the states will change that. Unless they codify that and turn that into an amendment. And personally, I believe that if you're going to go that far, then you might as well make it and it already is a constitutional amendment, the right to carry, but concealed carry is not. And you might say, well, shall not be infringed, but there's a very big difference between concealed carry and open carry. And I think there needs to be a constitutional provision for open carry, even though I would never open carry in my life. If I want to conceal carry, I should have to apply for that. And I think it's too dangerous because too many criminals conceal weapons, and it's not a good thing. And you want that ultimate punishment against people who are concealing when they're not supposed to. It's really not that hard to get a concealed carry in most states. Yes, it's tough in California, New York, and Maryland, and it's impossible in DC, but it is possible. And ultimately, it's not easy to get an abortion in some states. And what do we say? We'll move to another state. Well, same thing with concealed carry. You want to conceal carry, move to Virginia, go to Texas, go somewhere else. Otherwise, you have to apply for the proper state license to be carried. So this isn't going to go through.
I will protect the right of self-defense everywhere it is under.
And honestly, it probably shouldn't, to be transparent with you. California, we're going to end on this. California Representative Katie Porter says her 12-year-old daughter came home crying after Trump won, said she was afraid of not being able to get an abortion if she got raped. I can't make this shit up. Listen to this garbage.
So on election night, I went to pick up my daughter from water polo practice, and she's 12, and she got in the car and she was crying. And I said, did someone punch you? Like, water polo is a rough sport. I was like, did someone hit you? Did the coach yell at you? What happened? And she said, Mom, Trump won. Trump's going to win. And what if I get raped and I need to have an abortion? This is from a 12-year-old, my 12-year-old daughter. And so it was really a reminder of how scary this time is for people and how important it is for Democrats to have strategies, both at the state level and the federal level, to make sure that we can continue to protect people's rights. So on election night, I was with...
All right, I will just say this. Katie Porter, you're a horrible fucking parent. Sorry. I'm sorry. If the words come out of your mouth that Donald Trump is responsible for rape and you not being able to get an abortion if you're raped, then that means you had a conversation specifically with your child that told her that Donald Trump was responsible if you get raped and can't get an abortion. There is no fucking way that your child made that deduction on her own. You put it in her head. You threw it there. And then the election happened, and the consequence of him winning was your stupid conversation that you had with your daughter. You are a fucking horrible parent. And I don't need to see anything else about you. One of the greatest movies was, if you haven't seen it, was Knight's Tale. And in Knight's Tale, von Lichtenstein is in the gallows, and his arms, are locked in his head in the gallows, and they're throwing rotten vegetables at him because he was he wasn't even a squire. He was more of a serf or a knight, and he was sworn fealty to the knight his father gave him so he could go find his future. So William could reach for the stars. Well, William one day went down to the river and saw that the knight that he was sworn fealty to and his two friends was that the knight was dead, and took a joust and ultimately killed him. So he donned his armor, which is punishable by death, and pretended to be a knight and won the event, and they received money. And then they continued to pretend that von Liechtenstein was of noble birth. So they had patents of nobility created, and they ran across the writer Shusher, or it was Chaucer, I believe. Can't remember the writer, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And went ahead and got a blacksmith involved, and then this cadre that would go and run across the country and win these jousting competitions, and he'd make an incredible amount of money, and ultimately lived his night like a knight. Well, there was this other knight who was very, very jealous, who was handsome and strong, and he was the Black Knight, and he was very jealous of von Liechtenstein, that he was poor, and he dressed in simple tabards that were, run down, and simple garments and fabric, and he had an air about him that was almost just antithetical to this other pompous ass knight's disposition. And he had it out for him. And then he went to war, and he went to the French lines and would look at all the results of the tournaments, and it was von Liechtenstein, and he was just angry and put a dagger through it. He obviously wants to kill the guy. Needless to say, William returns to England and goes back to the commons, or the boroughs, or the poor quarter, and to looking for his old home and his father. And he's tracked there by this other knight, and finds out that William is of common birth, and he stole the knight's nobility and the patents of nobility and had them faked. So he's forewarned, and they sent the royal guard to arrest him, and his friends go, William, you have to flee. And the girl that he's courting and says, you have to run with all the places of my heart. You have to run. I love you, but we will run together, and, we'll be poor, and we'll live amongst the pigs. And he goes, oh, you do not know of what you speak because you're rich, etc. And everybody shows their ultimate loyalty to him by begging him to flee. And he won't. And he refuses because his stubborn pride. And he rolls into the arena on his horse, and he is immediately arrested by the royal guard and put into the gallows. And amongst there is a mob of boos and hisses as they throw refuse at him and assault him. And his team pulls out the hammer from the blacksmith, and a wooden cudgel from the large man, and a sword and a dagger from the other, and everybody pulls out weapons and stands in front of William and will not let the mob take him. And immediately through there was another knight that he ran across at one point, who he was trading jousts with, and it was found out that it was the actual Prince of England, and he was undercover, and he was hiding behind his name because he wanted to sport. And of course, being of noble birth and the Prince of England, he was unable to do that because they did not want him to get hurt or die and fall off of his horse, and then the country would be without a leader and a king. And actually, he wasn't a prince, he was a king. Maybe he was a prince, I don't fucking know. He was a prince. So anyway, while he's in the gallows and people are throwing things and his men are standing in front of him, a man cloaked in a brown robe, hiding his face, very, very tall and prominent, with four others in brown robes, immediately disrobe and show their black locks and their golden chain-mailed armor. And everybody takes the knee as the Prince of England shows off his tabard and eagle emblazoned in gold, and walks up to William, and he leans over to him. And he says, William, you are knightly because when you should withdraw, you tilt. So instead of recoursing away from a a blow from a lance, he tilts into the hit and he shows courage. And then he says, and if I didn't know anything else about you, your people are loyal to you and fiercely love you. And that is enough. And he commands him to be released. And he stands up and says, you know, I am your Prince of England. This man, William, from the Poor Quarter, has direct descendants and lineage all the way back to tying to Charlemagne. He is a long descendant of nobility, and here unto thee I bestow the lands and titles of such, along with the patents of nobility, and name him Sir William. And my word is law, and don't fuck with me, basically, and turns him into a knight. Now, why is that story important? I don't know. And I can't remember why I told it to you. But it's a good one, and there's a lesson in there that maybe we can learn from this. Is that people inherently will follow you if you are noble and true to your word. If you are able to say something that is truthful, that may have risk, that may cause detriment, but you don't hide it from people. Where you make a negotiated contract with them and say, I will tell you this will not be an easy road, or this will not be easy to hear. But when I present this information to you, I promise you it'll be just, it'll be true. And therefore, you get loyalty that quite possibly could turn into fealty from some people. And as long as you maintain that code, that knightly code of that honor, is never beset upon the road of deception or manipulation or falsehoods. If you do that and live your life like that, then people will simply look at everyone around you and see what they say about you when you're not there, or see how your story is told when you're not present to tell it. And that will be enough to weigh you as a human being. And I believe in this more than anything else. How people speak about you when you're not in the room is a true indicator of what type of person you are. So when I look at Katie Porter and what she's doing in this right now, by using her daughter to bestow upon her a fear that is not only false, but completely inappropriate for a child. The ending of the movie, as the Black Prince is on his back, as the 5 faces of each friend go in and say, you have been weighed, you have been measured and found wanting. And all 5 take a portion of that line and look in upon the Black Prince on his back, making a complete concentric circle of 5 people around him in his vision, telling him that you have been weighed, you have been measured, and you've been found wanting, which basically means that you've been put upon the scales of affability and honor and integrity, and you have been found not to be of weight, and that you don't have the capacity to fulfill the requirements to be such. I will say this about this lady. She has been weighed, she has been measured, and she has been found wanting. Because you not only are lying, you're using not only your reputation, but your daughter's reputation and bearing false witness to something that happened. And that is the lowest form of snake shit I've ever seen. So to that lady, nana nana boo boo, stick your head in doo-doo. Will I be covering the Penny trial, or the escaped monkeys could gather information for you and send it to you? Sure, send it to me. I'd like to cover the Penny trial. It's interesting to me. If you have not seen the movie A Knight's Tale, you must watch it. In my opinion, it is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all times. Now, I want you to be careful because you are going to be thrown off And you might even think in the first opening scene that it's quite silly, because you will hear in medieval times with burning turkey legs upon the smoky charcoal and flagons of ale being, rulered off before service. You will hear "We Will Rock You" by Queen and go, what the fuck am I watching? Go watch it. It's one of the greatest movies you will ever see. It has an amazing, beautiful message. It's humorous. It's honorable. It's laced with monarchy. It's jealous and love and hate and games of success. But most importantly, it's noble in its message. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You should go watch it. That's right. Debbie says, your daughter is raped and your first thought is abortion. Right. My first thought would be putting my arms around my daughter and saying, honey, who talked to you about, who told you that? My God, honey, you're not going to be raped. Why would that even enter your brain? But instead, Katie Porter doesn't need to do that because she's the one who told her. The movie is called A Knight's Tale. It's with Heath Ledger. And it is fantastic. It is the easiest watch in your life because it starts and it ends and you go, what the hell just happened and why is it over? It's the fastest. I think it's under 2 hours, but it feels like a movie that lasts 30 minutes. It's that good. I've never heard a person who has not liked it ever. Never, not one. It's like a Princess Bride. Anybody want a peanut? I haven't heard anyone who says, I hate Princess Bride. I've heard people say, I didn't like it when it came out. But Princess Bride is a cult classic. Knight's Tale is just one of the greatest movies ever. Heath Ledger, if you don't believe that Heath Ledger is one of the greatest actors of his generation, who it's so terrible that he died, that movie will demonstrate it for you. He is fantastic. And the character development is fantastic. You love every single frickin' character. Email address, matt@thedumbshow.com. MATT@thedumbshow.com. Folks, thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. We'll see you tonight at 7 o'clock. Olivia, myself, Leeroy, and Amy will all be on. Thank you for the donations today. Thanks for having a more of a us and you show, not so many people. Tonight, hopefully, we'll get it fixed on Twitter. And, good show, Glory, by the way. Good show. Glory's a good movie. That's a great movie. Denzel Washington's best performance. Yeah. Hands down, Denzel Washington's best performance ever. Just impeccable. People are like, no. Denzel Washington crushed it in Glory. And I've seen every one of Denzel. There isn't a movie I haven't seen of Denzel Washington. Training Day was good, but Cry Freedom was good, but really, Glory was excellent. All right, everybody. I'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight. God bless. Take care of each other. See you then. Thanks for watching the Don't Unfriend Me Show. See you then. Bye. Hello. Well, that's not the right window. Oh, this one. Bye.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leeroy, Amy, and Olivia. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on all major social media channels at The DUM Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.